What's going on, guys? My name is Steve. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Today we're going to be reacting to 10 things that only exist in the UK. You know, it's been a while since I've done a video like this. I really enjoy these list type videos because they kind of give me ideas on things that I could actually explore on a deeper level, you know, later on. So anyways, guys, don't really know what to expect here, but let's just go ahead and dive in and learn about 10 things that only exist in the UK.
This is where it all began. Greggs first shop opened in Gosforth in Newcastle 68 years ago.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be looking at 10 things that only exist in the UK.
Oh, you smashed something!
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we're looking at products, shops, and more that you can only find in the United Kingdom. Let us know which is your favourite in the comments below. Party 7. You'll have to be a certain age to remember Party 7, since, in its original form, it disappeared back in the 1980s.
Tenor says he did it.
I'm not playing.
Tenor and a party 7.
This was a tin of beer that was the equivalent of 7 pints in one big can, which would have cost about a tenner in today's money, though it originally cost 15 shillings.
Party 7. That's an interesting name.
It's a testament to how much the Brits love booze that such a product existed and remained popular, despite its propensity to explode and supposed poor quality.
Right, the chosen vintage of the CID.
Then in the 2020s, Party 7 had a brief renaissance when the beer returned in a keg format in 2021. Little Chef.
Is that stuff any good? The Party 7? Is it? It kind of seems like it's like kind of like the malt liquor we have at the store here. That's the kind of the vibe it's giving me. It's just some like really cheap alcohol. Something that'll get someone drunk, but it's not probably going to be the best quality. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Is that stuff any good? If you like beer?
It was a sad time in 2018 when the final Little Chefs closed their doors.
Well, I'd like eggs and bacon. I'd like toasted jam.
Once upon a time,
know that song.
Every long car journey could be livened up by a trip to a Little Chef, which lined motorways up and down the country.
Little
That's
Chef.
what the Little Chef serves me. Little Chef's lots more fun.
You could go in there and get classic food like a full English breakfast for a steal. A boon not only to families giving their kids a chance to stretch their legs, but lorry drivers needing a pick-me-up after hours on the road. It struggled for years following its decline in the 2000s and eventually shut all its branches. But for decades, it was a British cultural icon.
A Little Chef goes a long way.
The house
The bigger breakfast for £4.99. Or wait, £4 99 pence. Is that how you would say that? I forgot how you pronounce that. Like we would say, well, we might just say £4.99. I'm sure you guys would too, or $4.99. But I think you say £4 and 99 pence. Anyways, this place, looking at the food they had here, where is it at? This reminds me of a place that we have called Denny's. It's like kind of like it's just like a diner. Or maybe like an IHOP a little bit, except IHOP's specialty is more like pancakes. Looks like a good place. You just go get a good British breakfast, right? I mean, that's pretty much what that is, probably like 24 hours a day or something like that. If that's the case, it is like an IHOP or a Denny's. Let's see here.
House of Lords.
The most headline-grabbing recommendation, abolishing this place, the House of Lords, in favour of an elected chamber.
One of the most controversial things in British politics, the House of Lords as of 2023 is still there and still affecting our laws. That's despite many attempts to reform it and lots of high-profile and powerful politicians even saying they want to abolish it completely.
I think there's a lot that needs to be done to change the House of Lords.
What I'm not convinced about is that we need another elected chamber.
It's one of the most bizarre parts of life in the UK, that we still have this system of hereditary aristocratic titles that mean unelected people, often rich landowners,
that's interesting.
get to sit there in Parliament and tweak or even outright block laws devised in the House of Commons.
What people get very worried about is the size of the House of Lords and the appointments process for the House of Lords.
They've got no real public accountability and are one of the strangest things about Britain to explain to foreigners.
Well, I don't think it's strange to me that you have this body called the House of Lords. I think what a lot of people probably, if you're British, I'm guessing if you don't like the House of Lords, the thing you don't like about it is probably the very fact that it's hereditary, and it's not really, it doesn't have the same process to have people elected like you do in the House of Commons. I haven't really learned, I learned a little bit about it, a number of months ago. I haven't really explored it too in depth, but, I think it's kind of like, it's pretty much your version of our Senate, except they're not elected officials really. And, I think if it was, I don't think the people that are upset with the House of Lords, if it was kind of like elected, kind of like our Senate is, or kind of like your House of Commons is, I don't think people would be as upset with the House of Lords. But it's interesting.
Cornish pasties. Cornwall is a unique part of England with its own distinct culture, flag, and even a native language. And it also boasts one of the most iconic British foodstuffs, the Cornish pasty. But the humble Cornish pasty is perhaps more important than you realise if you're not from Cornwall yourself, since it previously held protected status under EU law. This meant that only pasties meeting stringent requirements could truly call themselves Cornish. They've got to follow a strict recipe and be prepared in Cornwall. This was all done to protect the pasty industry, which uses local produce and provides jobs to many in the county.
That makes sense.
Tabloids.
Wait, what is a Cornish pasty? It's some kind of pastry. I want to look at this real quick again. So this is obviously has something inside of it. He didn't go into detail about that. Obviously it's not a big piece of bread. What's inside of here? Is this like some sort of like fruit preserve, or is it like a meat pie kind of? What is this? It looks like it would probably be really good. The outside looks buttery and just, it looks really good. I wonder what's inside of it though. I don't know why I didn't talk about that.
Tabloids. Of course, most countries do have tabloids of their own, but tabloid culture in Britain is a law unto itself. Around the world, the UK is notorious for its relentless, unethical tabloids. Not only do British celebs find themselves at the mercy of the tabloid presses regularly, but so do celebrities from elsewhere who are deemed worthy enough to get harassed by UK red tops. For over 100 years now,
Daily Mail,
papers relying on sensationalist reporting,
The Sun, Daily Mail,
the privacy
The Time,
of the
Mirror,
rich and famous have been part and parcel of British life.
The Guardian. What? You're kidding me. I recognize all of these names of these tabloids, and I had no idea that they were all British. What was it? I think it was the Daily Mail. I think that's what it's called. I knew that one was British, but the Sun, I had no idea, because I see all these on American shelves, and so I just never even. Here, the Mirror. I've seen the Mirror, but I've just never really read them. I've seen, for the most part, I've just kind of, maybe I flipped through them at a grocery store or something like that, or as I was waiting in line or something, or maybe, I've checked out the cover or whatever, but I just never, for example, I've seen the Mirror plenty of times, but I've never really read this The Heart of Britain until now. The Guardian, what? That's crazy. Okay, guys, these make up the majority of what we would consider the tabloids in the US. So you guys must have a huge tabloid industry for the majority of American tabloids to actually be British. That's crazy. I never realized this. Wow. Okay. Good to know. That's actually really good to know. I'm going to pay a little bit more attention to some of these next time I go because they'll give me some insights into British culture, probably. But obviously, like he says, they also go into American stuff as well. But wow.
Much so that it's strange to imagine that the media landscape is very different overseas. Colin the Caterpillar.
It's quickly becoming the food fight of the century because the iconic birthday staple, Colin the Caterpillar, is going to war with lookalike Cuthbert.
No child's birthday party is complete without a visit from Colin the Caterpillar. Caterpillar cakes are sold by every major supermarket, all boasting different names, though the original Colin version was introduced by M&S in the 1990s.
Marks and Spencers are taking Aldi to court over the budget-friendly version of the cake, claiming that Cuthbert is not only an imposter, but riding on the coattails of the supermarket's reputation.
Marks and Spencers is so protective of its Colin name, in fact, that it tried to take Aldi to court for infringement.
What is, they say Marks and Spencer? Is that a grocery store? Because I know Aldi is a grocery store, obviously. Marks and Spencer. Let me know in the comments. It might be a grocery store I look into at some point. I haven't really looked into many grocery stores in the UK. I looked into. I think I've looked into 2, if I'm not mistaken. I have to look into a few more. I did find those very interesting because there was quite a few differences from the grocery stores in the US.
Infringing on its intellectual property by releasing a Cuthbert the Caterpillar.
You know, it's a bit unfair because you've got similar caterpillars. I think there's a Clyde in Asda, and there's a Wiggle in Sainsbury's, and an Eric.
Sainsbury's,
that suit was settled,
know that one.
And Caterpillar cakes continue to be sold by all supermarkets.
So M&S must be a supermarket.
Way to get a large amount of chocolate cake for your kids.
Never heard of that one.
Greggs.
Greggs.
If you miss Little Chef, Greggs is one of the retailers that expanded to fill the vacuum it left behind.
This is where it all began. Greggs' first shop opened in Gosforth in Newcastle 68 years ago.
But not only will you find a Greggs at every service station up and down the country, there's pretty much a Greggs on every single street.
Wait.
Sometimes 2 or even 3 branches all competing.
So is it a grocery store?
With its cheap, tasty pastries and sandwiches,
No.
Greggs has invaded
No, it's
high
not a grocery
streets
store.
around the country from its headquarters in Newcastle, which has over 30 branches alone.
From its roots in the northeast, Greggs expanded steadily.
In total, there were over 2,200 branches of Greggs, about 1,000 more branches than McDonald's, but it still only exists in the UK. It didn't even have any shops in Northern Ireland until 2016.
Today, Greggs has more shops in Britain than either McDonald's or Starbucks, and says it may launch abroad in the years to come.
Wow, that's crazy, man. I know the sign because I've wherever, right? Well, that's not a good picture of it, but I've seen the sign like that says Greggs, and it's familiar to me for some reason. Maybe I've seen it on a video like that wasn't talking about Greggs, but I just saw it in passing or something. I don't really know how I've seen that before, and I know the name. I think in my head, I just assumed that was a grocery store or something, but it says it's in convenience stores, or I think that's what they said. It's in sort of some other store, like, I think he said convenience stores. I don't know. It says they sell pastries and sandwiches and things like that. I'm going to check that place out. That looks like a really interesting place. It looks like a place you can go get some good comfort food maybe for a low price, and you can do it really quickly because you're in a convenience store or something. I don't know. I'll have to check that place out.
Tizer.
Tizer.
It's a red thing!
Though its presence on supermarket shelves has waxed and waned, especially in recent years, Tizer is still sold by British retailers and turns 100 in 2024.
Tizer.
It's manufactured by Bar, which also makes Iron Brew. But unlike the national
Really?
drink of Scotland, Tizer has never really appeared in other countries. It remains such a niche drink that you might have thought it had been made defunct and could have gone years without seeing a bottle.
Yes, we have 3 great new flavours. No, we're not changing colour! Tizer, it's a red thing!
Bright red and with a top secret recipe, who knows what they really put in Tizer, which adds to the allure of the Great British Pop, as its slogan calls it.
Okay, that's crazy. Iron Brew is so popular, right? I know that I did a reaction to some Iron Brew adverts maybe 2 weeks ago. If you're interested in that, you can find it here on the channel. Just a couple weeks ago. But and I've learned that Iron Brew is extremely popular. It's the national drink of Scotland, right? Or the second national drink of Scotland outside of whiskey. But I had no idea they made a separate complete beverage. That's interesting. So do they kind of taste the same, or are they completely different? They kind of both seem to have that like rusty looking color, or from what I can tell here. Anyway, let's continue. Henry. What in the world? Is this a vacuum?
Henry Hoover.
Henry Hoover.
What British home is complete without a humble Henry to keep everything shipshape?
Meet Henry from Pneumatic International.
Henry and his numerous siblings like James and Hetty is certainly the most iconic vacuum cleaner in the UK, thanks to his large googly eyes and cute appearance. They're not the best vacuums on the market, but we'll be damned if they're not reliable.
So what is it that makes Henry the industry favourite? Is it the long life engineering and proven reliability?
There aren't any bells and whistles on Henry, though some are designed for slightly different things. And buying him, you can be sure you've got a solid appliance that might even last a lifetime, and all without breaking the bank.
It's all over the floor as well. Feet up again, please. Did any of this go in your mouth?
Mr. Blobby.
He said they, what did he say? He said they weren't very powerful or something like that. I don't remember exactly what he said, but that's kind of the vibe I got when I saw that. Like, okay, this thing doesn't look like it would be very powerful, but he said they're very reliable. So sounds like a vacuum cleaner for your average household that, I don't know what the point in the face is really, but I don't know. Let me know. Do you have one of these? What was the purpose in the face? Is that just kind of to get people to want to buy because they, I don't know. I don't really understand, but Hoovers are very popular here. Is that the same thing? Henry Hoover is the same company. It's just a particular type of Hoover they actually have in the UK or in, yeah. Anyways, guys, let's continue. I know Mr. Blobby. I reacted to one of his videos, I believe, or one compilation of Mr. Blobby, and this guy or this thing is creepy, man. He's not like scary. I don't think he'd be scary, but I think he could be scary to kids. Like if you take a 3-year-old, a 4-year-old, I mean, he's kind of freaky looking, man. But I'm sure a lot of you remember him from your childhood. There's no doubt, man.
Maybe the most bizarre thing to come out of British light entertainment, and that's saying something. Mr. Blobby has been a household name ever since his debut.
It's weird, man. You see the face on that girl back there?
But his longevity defies all logic and reason. An absurd character who caused chaos on Noel's house party, Mr. Blobby now routinely reappears on TV and even on the stage.
Because Mr. Blobby will be going on holiday soon, he needs to get a photograph for his passport. Even Blobby needs identification.
Man. Every time he does, he wreaks havoc, ruining segments, breaking items, throwing tantrums, and scaring children half to death.
I think he would scare a lot of kids.
Why do they keep bringing him back when his only role is to smash?
Because he's so crazy, man.
Banshee? Your guess is as good as ours.
Do you agree with that?
I think these were very interesting, a very interesting list he had here. I mean, obviously I'd heard of Mr. Blobby, but outside of that, I mean, I'd seen the sign for Greggs before. I didn't know anything about it though. You know, but outside of that, I don't think I don't think I knew any of these other things. Definitely have a few new things I might look into exploring. For example, Greggs, I gotta write that one down or bookmark it so I can explore that later. And a few of these other things will definitely be interesting, like this big. What did they say? How big was this beer? I don't know. Anyways, guys, this was a really interesting list. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please click that like button. Feel free to drop your comments or suggestions about this video or others. And don't forget to subscribe to continue to follow me on my journey to discover my British and Irish ancestry. Until next time, guys, peace.